How do I create assets that income can follow? Well, I can't say I created it. I didn't create it. I discovered this formula. Here it is. Mindset plus skill set plus tool set equals assets, and income follows assets. So if I don't have the assets that I desire to have, it's because I don't have the mindset or the skill set or the tool set. Now it's so fascinating because I was thinking about this. I was thinking about Austin from Boston, the physicist, and I started getting chills thinking about how all principles are microcosms of each other, right? And like how everything that is a picture of everything that is. And so so we don't miss it, God just keeps repeating himself in nature. Plus skill set plus tool set. If I add these together, it equals assets. Well, guess what? Do you know what this is? Do you get it? Do you see it? Do you all see it? Oh, and we can put assets down here too. We might as well put assets down here. Okay, you ready? Be, do. What? And see, our problem is we're so obsessed with this. You know why? Because we don't understand that being speaks to our identity. And regardless of anything else, like you are seeking to discover and develop and deploy your identity into the marketplace, into the world, so that it has an impact. Okay. Doing speaks to my activity. And then having speaks to my property. And so we want to have the property, but we want to skip the identity and activity part. You can't skip it. You can't, you can skip it, but you're going to find yourself frustrated. How many are tracking? And so when I was thinking about, okay, why do people, even like people that you know, people that you love, people that you care about, people that who are even familiarly, like a family person, member, friends, why do people who you see have so much potential, the difference between who we are and who we could be, the difference between what we're doing and what we could do, the difference between what we have and what we could have. Why do so many people that you love and you're close to have so much unrealized potential? Mindset. They don't know who they are. So what happens is, so we get our identity from the people around us instead of bringing our identity to the people around us so their lives can change. Is what I'm saying making any sense? I don't mean to be off in the weeds of the ethereal, but mindset has to change. Our desires for what we have to change. I want to have a nicer house and a nicer car and a bigger bank account, blah, 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 blah. And then when you get those things, you realize they're just those things. So an asset is something of value. How can I provide you with value if I don't know what you value? How's that possible? How's it possible for me to deliver value to you if I don't know what you value? Here's what most people do. They go through life delivering what they value to other people and wanting other people to pay them for it. And the other people don't even value it. But you don't understand. I work really hard digging this hole in the forest. I know, but I don't need a hole in the forest. If the thing you created, and just because you worked hard to create it, doesn't mean other people owe you for it. Can I say this without sounding mean? Because I don't mean to be mean, because I really do love y'all on YouTube and in this room. I really do. But you are already being paid in direct proportion to the value that you are delivering to the people you're delivering it to. If you desire to get more money, get paid more money, don't just deliver more of the same value. Figure out how you can deliver a higher level of value. If you want to go from zero to millionaire. That's a good question, right? What's the mindset I need to go from zero to millionaire? Disciplined millionaire. Okay, watch this. In order for me to make more money than I'm making, my attitudinal beliefs about wealth must change. Okay. So what do I change into what? Change from what? So a lot of people have attitudinal beliefs about wealth that wealth is morally wrong. Now, let's don't pretend that people don't have that belief. How many of y'all know somebody with that belief? Right. How many of you at least used to have that belief? Like, you make too much money, you got to be doing something wrong. You must be doing something illegal, right? So we have this belief but if you have that belief, you will never work to become something you despise. Right? So you have an internal conflict, and you don't even realize that the reason wealth creation is not working for you is because you are out of alignment with your own desires. Why? Because you believe wealth is morally wrong. I was thinking about people who say, like, I've heard many people say MLM is a scam, right? Okay, multi-level marketing is a scam. That's what I heard people say. Now, I don't personally believe that. I don't believe that at all. I believe the reason people who believe multi-level marketing is a scam believe multi-level marketing is, I don't believe it's the best business opportunity in the world either. So let's don't get it twisted, okay? But I believe the reason people believe it's a scam is because they believe that the most important and most valuable thing that you get from working is money. And I submit to you that the least valuable thing you will get from working is money. Well, what else do you get? Like, when I say that, how many of y'all in your mind, at least a little bit, you think, well, if it's not money, what is it? Anybody thinking that, right? Okay, do you understand that's one of the ways they keep people poor? By making them think that money is the primary benefit of work. It's way down on the list. It's like the gravy on the, I was gonna say the gravy on the cake. The gravy on the mashed potatoes. It's like the icing on the cake. Like, the money's just the money. And I'm not saying the money's not important. It is important. It's just not even close to the most important thing. So here's what I get out of working. I get to develop a new skill. When I work in a business, I can develop a whole lot of new skills. So the skills that I learn while I'm building the business, even if the business never makes me a lot of money, the lessons that I learn and the skills that I develop are worth more than the money I make. Oh, watch this. The relationships that I build. Do you know I have friends that I met through multi-level marketing 35 years ago that are still some of my closest friends today, even though they don't do multi-level marketing anymore and I don't do multi-level marketing anymore. But because I was in multi-level marketing and they were in multi-level marketing, we learned skills that didn't produce as much for us in multi-level marketing as they did in other arenas. But see, one of the reasons multi-level marketing can be so beneficial, and I'm not saying go do multi-level marketing, that's not my point. But my point is to go find something that mimics multi-level marketing, which is what? Apprenticeship and mentorship. Because when I think about some of the wealthy, the first wealthy people I ever met were multi-level marketing people. And I learned things from them that not from things they said, because more is caught than taught, but from things I watched them do. Is what I'm saying making sense? So, but you've got to get rid of this idea that wealth is somehow inherently evil, and your attitudinal beliefs about wealth have to change. So wealth is not inherently evil. You're not going to become a worse person if you make more money, unless you're already a terrible person. Then you will become a worse person. Have to increase. You have to become more aware of how wealth is created. Now, here's what I recommend. I recommend do a study. Do a wealth study. Do a study on how poor people think and how rich people think, and what's the difference. Do a study on what poor people do to make money and what rich people do to make money, and do a study. Do a study on what poor people accumulate and what rich people accumulate. Do a study. Like, poor people accumulate televisions. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm serious. Rich people accumulate books. Poor people entertain themselves. Rich people educate themselves. Are y'all tracking? Is what I'm saying making sense? Okay. By the way, I don't read books to learn how to do something so I can make more money. I read books so I can understand the way life works better, because when I do that, then I can work life better. Okay, cool. So, and then the application of the business principles of wealth. So, all business principles don't produce wealth. There are some businesses that struggle. Why? Because they don't understand the business principles that can produce wealth. If you understood that, if you own a business, doesn't it make more sense if you're going to do business? By the way, building a business is way harder than just working a job. And I don't mean say just work a job, like work a job's not important, but just because you're good at a job doesn't mean you'd be good at running that business. The most important skill set that you can skill sets that you can develop in order for you to create wealth, number one, is you must develop the skill set of how to discover value. This is what I mean when I say stop trying to be more interesting, be more interested. See, when we meet people, you can tell whether you're interested or interesting by whether or not you're making statements or asking questions. If you're making statements, you're attempting to be interesting. But people who are seeking to be interesting are boring. Value comes from past perceived voids create present perceived values. What does that mean? Things that you feel like were missing in the past are things that you seek in the present. Oh, so what do you feel like you've been missing your whole life? Go out and ask people, so what do you feel like is missing in your life? Well, the big three, right? Health, wealth, relationships, right? Either I'd like to be healthier than I am, I'd like to be wealthier than I am, or I'd like to have more or better relationships than I have, right? But then start asking people questions about like why they don't have them, like why those things are missing. Like, so why do you feel like it's so hard for you to have, make more money? Well, because there are no jobs, okay? So is it possible that maybe there's another way to make money other than having a job? Is that possible? Sure. Well, what would that way be? Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to ask questions and care about the answers enough to be able to develop value. You can't develop for value. You can't deliver value to someone until you discover what's valuable to that someone. So past perceived voids create present pursued values. Past perceived violations create present pursued virtues. What does that mean? Like, if somebody has done something intentionally bad to you in the past, it causes you to value the protection that keeps that from happening to you again in the present. Can I get a witness? So what we have to do is we have to understand do you understand the thing that you went through or the things that you went through so that you could help the millions of people that you were created to serve in the first place. And if you hadn't gone through that, you wouldn't be able to help them because you don't even know how they feel. It blows my mind. People who have never invested in themselves to learn a new skill, go out and create an offer, so-called, and then they wonder why nobody wants to buy it from them. Because you can't even feel what that person feels like when they buy something because you've never bought something to make your life better. So you can't even address how they feel if they say yes while they're contemplating saying yes. You can't even talk to that. Why? Because you've never done it. You to do something I desire you to do for my reasons. Persuasion or selling is when I help you make a decision you already desire to make for your own reasons. Guess what? I don't care what you sell. As long as it's something that creates value for another human being, there are already thousands, maybe tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people in the world who would already love to buy what you'd already love to sell if they only knew you existed. And that happening to them in the future. Okay, number three. Present perceived virtues create present perceived values. In other words, things that you perceive are good right now are things that you seek right now. Does that make sense? So for me, I'm 63. And so to me, like being physically strong is important to me. Like physically strong. Why? Because I know that as we get older, if we get weaker, it increases the rate at which death shows up at our door. What does that mean? Did you know there's a direct correlation between grip strength, which is why, like, I've invested all of this money and time and effort and energy into this stuff that makes me stronger. Okay, so you have to why? Because that's one of my present perceived virtues. Now, lastly, this is why y'all are watching right now. This is why y'all are here right now, because future perceived visions create present pursued values. So there's something I can see for myself and the people I love in the future, so I am willing to work very hard for that right now, even if it takes a long time to get here. Do you understand? Let's say it takes you 10 years to go from where you are to millionaire, right? Y'all ready for the news flash? 10 years is gonna go by anyway, whether you become a millionaire or not. So you might as well do it. If that's an objective of yours. If it's not an objective of yours, it could be something else. Because a millionaire is just somebody else's arbitrary standard. Millionaire, billionaire. Like, and y'all have heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. I don't set goals. I think it's a very good way to frustrate yourself. I have objectives that I'm working towards, But when I make it a goal, then it has to be done by this time, and I don't get to control the times and the seasons. I just get to control how faithful I am in the process. And the times and the seasons take care of themselves because everything's beautiful in his time, not mine. Okay. So I discover value. I find out what y'all value. Then I go create something, develop something. I'll write. I need to develop some kind of transformational mechanism for other people that helps them get from where they are to where they desire to be. Now, when I develop that transformational mechanism, I have to make sure I give it a name that they understand, not a name that I understand that makes them think I'm smart and they're dumb. That's why it's so important not to say things like, well, I help people overcome past trauma. Well, that's not clear. If the transformation is not clear, then the transaction won't happen. It won't happen. Now, there's nothing wrong with helping people overcome trauma. There's just a better way to say it. What kind of trauma? Was I in a car accident? What kind of trauma? I help people with their mental health. What does that mean? That's not, so can I give y'all some components of how to describe the value you create in a way that makes it desirable by other people? Is that okay? Say that's okay? Okay, here it is. Number one, it must be measurable. What does measurable mean? There's a clear before and a clear after. Before the transformation, it was this, but after the transformation, it'll be this. What does that mean? I help people, like if it's in the arena of health, I help people go from weak and sickly to strong and vital, right? Oh, okay, I know what that means, right? If it's in their area of relationships, I show people who feel unattractive how to feel more attractive so people perceive them as attractive so they can develop the relationships they desire to have, right? So I'm talking in plain English, 3rd to 5th grade language, not a bunch of promulgated esoteric cogitations. Okay, so if I'm talking about wealth, I show people who are making 6 figures how to make 7 and 7 how to make 8. I show people how to leave the 9-to-5 rat race and create a financial life that they love. Do you see what I'm saying? You got to learn how to talk in ways that don't impress people but impact people. Okay, you are with me. Okay, so number one, it needs to be measurable. Number two, it needs to be desirable. By the way, not something you desire them to have, something they desire to have. Talk to people about results they desire. So, no, you don't understand. I'm the greatest, mindset coach. I help you with your mindset. Okay, what does that mean? That's not measurable, right? Now, it may be desirable if I'm already thinking that. But what I want to do when I'm talking to you about a transformation I can help you have, I want to join the conversation you already got going on in your noggin. I don't want you to join the conversation I got going on in mine. Because then I got to teach you a whole new language, a whole new way of thinking. Okay, cool. So it needs to be desirable. Number 3, it needs to be believable. They need to believe that you have the ability to help them get that transformation. By the way, why does it need to be measurable? Because what they're going to pay you with is money, and money is always measurable. You count the money. If you can count the money, and if you can't count the transformation, you can count on the fact that a transaction will not happen. Are y'all tracking? Okay. So measurable, desirable means they desire it. It needs to be believable, which means you need to be congruent. Remember I said earlier, you can lie with your words, but your energy always tells the truth. You have to believe in the transformation you're proclaiming, because if you don't, they will be able to tell. And you have to believe that you can get it, not just for you, but you have to believe that you can get it for them. Otherwise, they can tell. And then you got to make sure you look the part. You got to make sure that, as my brother Jeff said to me a long time ago, probably 30-something years ago, he said, Myron, I'm going to tell you something. Everything about you says to your client, either buy from me or don't buy from me. You can't afford to have anything say, don't buy from me. I'm like, okay, got it. Right? And then, lastly, it needs to be stateable in a soundbite. You need to be able to say it in a way that's succinct. Like, people aren't going to listen to you give them a word salad or a drunkalogue. Like, well, what I do is I help people get in touch with their inner being and they don't tell you to. But one of the reasons, if you're not clear, one of the reasons people check out is because they don't want you to know they feel stupid when you say something they don't understand. They're not going to say, well, I don't understand what you mean, because that'll make them feel stupid. So What they say instead is, no, I don't need that right now. And what they're doing is protecting their own self-worth and their own mind. Now, so he's talked about assets. We talked about assets a little bit. We talked about mindset. We talked about skill sets. By the way, what are some of the skill sets? I'm talking about in business, they are lead generation, creating a core product offer. By the way, did you know you don't have to create a product? There's this thing called affiliate marketing. You can literally go find an offer that somebody else has created, offer their offer, and get paid as much as 50 to 70% of the money you get paid for making the sale. My top affiliate makes between $8,000 and $36,000 a month. That's how much money he makes selling my stuff to people he knows. I make an extra 7 figures a year selling other people's offers. Part-time. So I'm not giving you theory. Okay, you got to create content. Number 2, you have to attract an audience. And that's what creating content does. It attracts an audience. You must attract your audience. Do you understand that because you're you, because you're not Tony Robbins, because you're not Myron Golden, because you're not Russell Brunson, because you're not Robert Greene, there are people who will be able to relate to you better than any other person in the world, and they're waiting for you to show up, but you're hiding because there's things about you that you think you don't like because you thought other people didn't like it. You're still going around believing that you aren't who your 3rd grade teacher told you aren't, or who your guidance counselor told you aren't. You're so familiar with your identity, you can't recognize your identity. Okay, y'all get it. So you attract your audience. Okay. Why? You can't attract your audience if you don't publish, if you don't make what you know and who you are and how you can help public. That's what publish means, right? Okay. So create content, attract an audience, build a brand. And not just a brand, a personal brand. I love the idea of a personal brand. I would tell you a story, but I'll just tell you in a sentence. When I learned how to sell, I thought selling was the master key. And I thought people who talked about marketing because they didn't know how to sell. And then I learned how to do marketing, and I thought, oh, marketing's the actual master key. And then I heard people talk about branding. I'm like, branch, man. People are talking about branding because they're not good at sales and they don't know how to do marketing. And then I accidentally built a brand without even trying. And then I realized, oh, building a brand is the bee's knees. It's the cat's meow. It's the whole, it's the game. So here's what I mean when I say build a brand, okay? Did you know the number 1 reason people say yes or no to an offer is not the price, not the product. The number 1 reason people say yes or no to an offer is based on who brought it to them. What? Yeah. It's the number 1 reason. Hi, my name's Joe Schmo from Kokomo. I'm looking to start a mentorship program, and we're looking for 12 people that would click. I don't know Joe Schmo from Kokomo. Don't know me. Phone rings. You answer your phone. Hello? Yeah, this is Damon John. Hey, this is Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. Yeah, we're looking to build a mentorship program. We're looking for 12 entrepreneurs. Your business came across our radar. Would you like to be considered as one of those? Yes. Not how much is it? Not how long will it take? Not where do I have to go? Not what do I have to do? Not what do I have to stop doing? It's just yes. Why? Because of who brought it to you. So, if that's the case, this is what building a personal brand means. Here's what it means. Y'all ready? Everybody say I'm ready. Okay, here we go. Here's what building a personal brand means. It means that you are becoming the person that people are willing to say yes to before they know what the offer is. So lastly is offering your offers. Now, here's what happens when you challenge. The tickets for that, for the general admission, are $97. I'm not going to write that down. Okay, the general admission tickets for that are $97. The VIP tickets are $297. The VIP Platinum tickets are $797. We max out at 40 of these. Now here's what happens. If you become an affiliate and you sell either one of these, we sell these, nobody else sells those but us. So if you sell either one of these, if you sell that, you get half the money. If you sell that, you get half the money as an affiliate. All you got to how to create wealth for your family. Hope this was helpful. Stay blessed by the best, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.